Hello, Motorrad World fans, and welcome to another Paddock Talk session, talking day 3, Sunday, out at Estoril in Portugal for World Superbike action. And what an incredible day. What an amazing day. There was so much happening. The vibe was excellent. There were over 20,000 fans in a dodgy weathered Estoril, it has to be said. But it was jam-packed. The vibe was excellent. World Superbikes is just great. It's a great atmosphere. It's very fan-friendly compared to MotoGP. It's a lot more fan-friendly. Having the paddock show in the paddock. So you can buy a paddock ticket. I think it was €40 for the weekend to get into Estoril. And then you ride in the paddock. I mean, the riders walk up and down from you. They're all very accommodating. You see them a lot more than you see the MotoGP riders. So yeah, if you don't want to do the MotoGP thing and go sit on a grandstand or a hill for the weekend where you see the same corner for the whole weekend, don't get any access to the paddock, I would highly recommend World Superbikes. The racing action is phenomenal. They cater for the fans, like I said, with the paddock show. They've got the big paddock show stands, stage set up with the big TV showing the racing. So they really do have every angle covered there. You get right in with a podium ceremony where the bikes come in. You see the bikes, the riders up close. Great weekend. Really enjoyed myself at World Superbikes in Estoril. Woke up this morning and again, dodgy weather after this Friday heat wave. Saturday a little bit dodgy, but it cleared up. Sunday woke up again. It was just wet all the way to the track. It was wet, the 30k drive there. Still spitting with a bit of rain. Got to the track. World Superbikes FP3 was already out on track, so they were very much on a wet track. Slowly started to dry. The little bit of drizzle, it was never really like this rain. It was just a little bit of drizzle. That kind of dried out. The sun came out a bit. There was a bit of a breeze which was blowing the track dry, but not that quick. The track really wasn't drying that quick. And then heading into the Super Pole race in the morning, it was very much, tire choice. I could see just mechanics running up and down with different tires and that. And a lot of the team managers and riders, Leon Camia from the HRC Honda team, Chaz Davies, who helps out with the Aruba Ducati team, they were riding up and down the access roads just to try and get a good look at the track and where it's drying up and where it's still wet and that. And eventually they started the race, and I was surprised to see so many riders go out with intermediates and some even with wets. Riders like Rinaldi going out with an intermediate front and a wet rear or some silly combination. And it was kind of crazy because, we were walking at the side of the track and we could see that the track was drying. So, yeah, I didn't really understand why a lot of riders gambled there, especially when the likes of Toprak, Johnny, Alvaro, the kind of the benchmarks go out on slicks. You do what they do. If they put slicks on, it means it's dry enough. I know you think you're taking this gamble and it might pay off, but, even for, on the side of the track like us, just looking, it was like, well, it's dry. Why would you? Anyway, so the race was fantastic. We saw it was, again, a battle between Johnny, Alvaro and Toprak. Locatelli was thrown in the mix there early on. Scott Redding had a good start early on, but it was all very much kind of just testing the waters, testing out the track conditions, because it was still damp in places. Toprak had said in the briefing on the Saturday that was his cup of tea, where it's damp but it's dry enough for slicks. He loves those kind of conditions, and he started to stamp his authority on the race more and more and more. Got that comfortable lead, and we still started walking back from the turn 3 or 4 that we were watching from, thinking, wow, Toprak's got this sewn up. Went into the last lap, looks, he's got a comfortable win. Next minute they came out after coming after the checkered flag, and Toprak was looking a little bit miffed, and we were like, and now? And then we heard on the radio that Johnny had won. I thought, geez, how did Johnny win that? Then we saw the save of the millennium. I mean, Toprak Razgadioglu, take a bow for that. Marc Marquez, Marc Marquez, eat your heart out. Those pictures that we posted on the Motor Rider World page as well, go check them out. If you haven't seen them, Toprak is down. Toprak is crashed. The bike is on the deck. Toprak is just about on the deck, and he picks it up. In that final chicane, he somehow picks it up. Johnny takes full advantage. In his debrief, Johnny says, saw the mistake. I kind of went in there. I threw it over Toprak's nose because that was the only opportunity I had. A little bit harsh in that, I know, but I got to take the opportunity when it presented itself, and he did, and he won the sprint race, really pinching it off Toprak. He still said it was a lucky win. Toprak had the pace, and it was that mistake that allowed me the win. Toprak just said, when we asked him, and how was that save? He said, yeah, it was a good one, and still Marc Marquez was brought up And he said, yeah, I watch Mark Marquez a lot. So, yeah, trying to do my best kind of Marquez impersonation with his kind of broken English, and had a good laugh. But he says, we train a lot at Kennan's goat kart tracks and that with the little bikes, and we always tuck in the front and having to pick it up off our elbow and that. So, the feeling's not new, but because it's, your World Superbike and it's heavy, he said he did have to use quite a bit of power to get it up, and you could still see the hole in his leathers, which he still rode with those leathers in the second race, because I saw him afterwards, and there he was with a hole in his leathers. So just show he's such an amazing guy, Toprak Razgadioglu. He really is. Every time you kind of go up to him for a debrief, or I asked him for his autograph quite a few times. Check out the Motor Rider World Facebook page soon, because we got some awesome items from Toprak Razgadioglu to auction off, some championship winning shirts signed. He even gave me one of his Dainese boots signed, so keep a look out there. But when you go and ask him for his autograph, he's like almost shy that you're asking him. He's like, why do you want my autograph? But okay. And you're like, dude, you World Superbike champion, you're like the coolest dude on a motorcycle ever. That's why I want your autograph. And he's just so accommodating. Even in the media debrief, when you ask him a question, he looks you dead in the eye, and he answers the question, and he gives you his time. And a lot of them are really, the World Superbike riders were awesome this weekend, from the debriefs to everything. They were absolutely amazing. Alvaro Batista was a little bit standoffish compared to the others, not as accommodating. His debriefs and that were good, but certainly when you go and ask him for an autograph, it feels like kind of wasting his time a bit. I asked him for a visor for my Scorpion helmet, and he just kind of said no, which is fine. Said no, but the likes of Ray and all the other guys, a lot more accommodating. Scott Redding, asked him and gave me a pair of gloves to go towards my beautiful daughter's fundraiser. So go check it out, Knowing Nova Facebook page. See my beautiful baby girl there. So yeah, I got a lot of great items ready for the online auction on our Facebook page. So big thank you to Kawasaki, to Scott Redding, to everyone who donated stuff. I just cannot thank you enough. To the Pata Yamaha team, Toprak, really appreciate it. So anyway, back to the racing action. And after an entertaining sprint race, a Super Pole race, I really love those races. The beauty about World Superbikes is you get the racing action on Saturday, you get 2 races on Sunday. The MotoGP is awesome with the qualifying and the practices, but then you get that one race. Will there ever be 2 races in MotoGP? I highly doubt. But yeah, it's just awesome having this different formula that's World Superbikes. I haven't been to World Superbikes since 2020, Estoril with Sheridan, when he was a wild card rider there. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. Still a little bit tight with the passes and that with regards to myself, media and getting access in places, but certainly from a fanboy point of view, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. A lot more open, a lot more fan friendly. So heading into race number 2 again, just before race 2, it started spitting again. And that was kind of, opening. We saw the World Supersport race, which was fantastic. Ollie Bayliss is my new hero. I got to meet Ollie Bayliss and Troy Bayliss on the Saturday. Very accommodating as well. Troy Bayliss is my absolute hero, my favorite rider of all time. And he was very accommodating. Still took a picture of him, and he was like all awkward about it, and signed a cap for me, and then said, oh, hang on, mate, I've got to put my glasses on. Put his glasses on, signed a cap, took me inside to the pit box, got to meet Ollie, got a photo with both of them, saw the inside of the pit. So that was another bucket list moment ticked off, to meet Troy Bayliss and the way that handled. It was amazing. Loved it. But anyway, that Supersport race was so entertaining. Ollie Bayliss did a fantastic job. I think 5th or 6th he finished, but right in the mix. So watch out for Ollie Bayliss. I think he's going to do phenomenal things. I think he's more of a big bike rider, coming from Australian Superbikes, from the Panigale V4. He's kind of, gone down into the Supersport to learn the tracks on the V2 Panigale and that. But I think he's going to be a big name. I think he's got what it takes to be one of the top, to be kind of like his dad. Those are big shoes to fill. But let's wait and see. So it was great seeing them and celebrating with them. And then it was World Superbike, race number 2. And again, World Superbike just put on a great spectacle. MotoGP is fantastic. I absolutely love MotoGP. The paddock, the way I get to do it is fantastic in that. But there has been this argument that there's not enough passing going on in MotoGP now. It's kind of become very scripted. It's kind of whoever can make the Michelin front tire work best will win. It's not the case with World Superbikes. We saw it today. There's kind of no real script other than Toprak, Ray, and Alvaro at the front. And that was, again, the kind of script. Alex Lowe's was in there. It was great speaking to him afterwards. I did that interview that I posted on our YouTube channel, and he said, I said, what's missing? And he said, just a little bit of confidence. Spoke to him afterwards, and he says, yeah, it was good. It was confidence inspiring to run with those guys at the front for those many laps. So that was brilliant. Also in the debrief, which was really interesting, a journo asked, so Alex, we've heard that, your setup and Johnny Ray's setup is completely different, and that your mechanics are told what setup to put in your bike. Kind of looked at his PR lady as like, how can I answer that? And he said, the best way I can answer that is, yes, it's, I kind of get told what setup I must ride. And then I didn't really look at it, but I'd never thought that. I thought, you'd set the bike up to him. And he said, he basically said, yeah, my team gets told what to set the bike up to, and that's what I've got to do. So in a way, he's pretty much a glorified test rider. And if I look at how the weekend played out, one session he's up there, next session he's kind of nowhere, then he's up there again, and then race 2 he was up there again. And I kind of think, well, that makes sense. One session they're saying, try this. Oh, that works. Okay, well, try this. No, that doesn't work. And then he's back. So, yeah, all these kind of things that you get when you're inside the paddock, and media debriefs and that you don't see from the outside. So that was really interesting. But yeah, it was all about Toprak, Johnny, and Alvaro. Toprak and Johnny at the beginning looked like the strategy was different. They weren't kind of roughing each other up. They were just trying to stick to the script. Johnny said he got out front, rode as slow as he could out front to preserve energy, preserve tire, waiting for the attack. And he just said no one was coming. When Alvaro Bautista came past him, he said that's when the race began for him. Then he stepped up his pace, and he was really impressed with the amount of grip that he had from the SCX rear tire. There's been this myth that he said that they can't run the SCX unless it's really cold conditions. And this time he said it worked perfectly, and he was kind of waiting for this rear tire to start spinning and give out, and it just never, and that gave him the confidence to attack, and we saw what happened in the end. He really did stick it to Bautista. Toprak just said from lap 10, just rear spin started happening, and it was just uncontrollable. Couldn't get drive, and he just couldn't stay with the guys. He said he was really disappointed, wanted to be battling for the win more, but again, showed good pace, was fast, and yeah, that win's coming. Toprak reminds me a little bit of Brad, kind of just stays positive, looks at things, the positive, negative, but always puts on a brave face and a happy face despite everything. So it was great to see the World Superbike riders and Toprak. I mean, I've never really spent time with Toprak and those kind of guys, and it was awesome to see how they react to the situation. So Toprak, positive, wasn't happy, but anyway, it's just, got the points and move on to Mazzano, which he really likes, which he's hoping to improve. They're staying at Estoril for a couple of days testing. Let's see if they can improve there as well. Johnny just said, once he realized that he had this really good grip, Alvaro just pulled so much down the straight. It was 14 k's an hour difference in top speed, that Ducati, and he would pull away, and Johnny would just spend the whole lap closing, but he said he just felt like he had a lot more rear grip than Alvaro, and there were places where Alvaro was quick, and there were places where Johnny had him, and his plan on the last lap was to attack in that right-hander down the hill before the chicane, which he did. Alvaro fought back, and then he just said, I'm going in the chicane, and Alvaro still said, I left Johnny a couple of meters because I couldn't go too defensive, because it's that kind of corner that you can't go too tight, and Johnny just shoved it in there, old school block pass. He said he had the confidence in the bike to do it, shoved it in there. Alvaro just had no way to fight back, and Johnny held it off. And then that moment of Johnny Ray coming out, that last long right-hander where he got the rear lit up, and he said he shat himself. Basically, he said he thought he completely effed it up, but he caught the spin. Once he got the spin, he just rode the spin because he didn't want to lose the traction, because he knew it was going to be a drag race to the line. Luckily for him, Alvaro had kind of lost those couple of tenths, and Johnny Ray, fantastic win. He said going into the weekend, 2 wins over the weekend, especially after race 1, was a fantastic result, and hats off to Johnny Ray. He never gave up. Watching him from the side of the track the whole weekend, spectacular. They're all spectacular to watch, but Johnny Ray's just got this die hard, never give up attitude, and it's commendable after winning 6 world titles. He could easily just say, oh, well, ride around for a salary. That guy's still there to win a championship, and it was amazing to see. Alvaro kind of just said, he got to the front. He wasn't happy with the pace that Johnny was kind of setting. I don't know if you all saw that down the straight, passing Toprak and Johnny down the front straight using the horsepower there, and he got out front and was setting a good pace. Wasn't 100% sure of conditions, so when he got to the front, he was like still trying to take it easy, because up till then he was using Johnny and Toprak as a reference, and then got into a good rhythm, and then he just said, Johnny just really caught me by surprise, to be honest, with the pace that he was still able to keep. So caught him a little bit by surprise, and couldn't fight back little bit disappointed but happy. Championship lead, pulled some points, feeling good with the bike, 1 or 2 adjustments. So he's overall very, very happy is Alvaro Bautista. He did say, the one journo said, you win races because you got a fast bike. He got a little bit upset by that. He said, but you don't see how hard I ride in the corners, the problems we still have in the corners that I'm dealing with, and blah, blah, blah. And the other journo kind of came to his rescue and said, well, you're the only Ducati rider up front doing anything. And he kind of said, well, exactly. Yes, I've got a fast motorbike, but I still got to ride the thing. And I agree with him in that way. And he did a fantastic job over the weekend. And it was just awesome. World Superbikes this weekend was absolutely amazing. The racing on track was great. The atmosphere off track was phenomenal. It was just an awesome race weekend. And I'm definitely going to get myself 2 more World Superbike races this year. There's no doubt about that. But well done, Johnny Ray, Alvaro, Toprak, all the World Superbike riders. They are my absolute heroes. Love them. Just loved the whole weekend. It was awesome to be in it. It was a day to remember this man, Nicky Hayden, 5 years today since we lost the legend that is Nicky Hayden. So it was great to see a lot of Nicky Hayden shirts and caps around the track. That was a nice touching thing to see. And just absolutely amazing. So join me for more World Superbike talk. We're going to start doing Talking World Superbikes the Monday night after the race meeting, live on our YouTube channel from 8 p.m. South African time. So wherever you're around the world, just try and check that out. And make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel for more Paddock Talk from World Superbikes, MotoGP. We've even thrown 1 or 2 World Endurance races in there. Check out the Lamar experience I put up, the Miguel Oliveira fan club that I walk around that I did there, some bike tests. Going to try and keep you as entertained as we possibly can. But get those likes in, subscribe to the channel, and until Monday night, talking World Superbikes this time, I'll catch you guys later.